It's important to choose just the right shell. Gene knows which one will help frame his mirror.
I spend average about 3 hours a day on my hobby, which is making stuff.
3 hours a day on his balcony above the Palapas and the Mazatlan Sea, where he can work and think and reminisce about his 92 years of life.
I think that I know of no one had more of an interesting life than I have had. The things that I have done, gone through, everything else.
That life started in the Yuma, Arizona Territorial Prison. He was born there during a flu epidemic.
They had to use this, the prison's hospital for it. So it's a kind of a joke, because if you want to get down facts, it was not a prison then.
Gene Parton George grew up with his sister Loretta and his cousins Julian and Bernetta. He always calls himself a double cousin because his mom Dessa had an identical twin sister Thessa. The sisters married the George brothers, Calvin Parton and Ulysses Solomon, nicknamed U.S. A terrible tragedy made the George family even closer.
Thessa, in a horrible fire accident where she had to go through the fire to save Bernetta's life, burned and died. So my mother ended up raising all 4 of our children together. So, and my mother didn't want one. They said, which is your child? And they said, they're all my children. You would not tell anyone which were her. So we were always taught to be called brothers and sisters.
They've been close all their lives. In fact, Julian and Gene were in business together.
We started out when we were very young selling fireworks stands. We had fireworks stands, 15 years of age. We were go-getters. We did anything to make any money. Also, we had Christmas tree lots. In fact, your father had a Christmas tree lot with us one time. I can remember I had a Christmas tree lot right near Belmont High School on a corner there, and I'd only say 16 years of age, 17 probably.
Law enforcement was in Gene's blood. His father rode motorcycles for the Los Angeles police force. When Gene joined up, he rode motors too. It was a dangerous job, and when he was hurt in an accident, he went to recuperate at his father's lodge on Lake Elsinore. He was helping out at the bar when he met Virginia.
And so I thought, I'll have to be some fun. I'll work with my father. So I got behind the counter where we sold beer, and these 2 pretty girls come up. And they sat down. One was 19 years old, one was 17 years old. And this little gal said, I'd like to have a beer. I said, how old are you? She said, 22. Long story short, I end up asking for take her out, and we went out rabbit hunting that night. And
rabbit hunting?
Rabbit hunting.
Watermelon hunting the next night.
That was just the beginning. Why did you decide to marry Virginia?
She had beautiful breasts. Well, I plain old fell for her. Beautiful girl. She had a beautiful figure, and she liked the same things I did. She liked to go to the beach, so that's where I met her. I liked to go out in the sun. In those days, you shouldn't do it, but we were sun lovers. We'd be out in the sun getting real nice tans together, which is very, very bad, by the way. Of course, we didn't find that out until 30 or 40 or 50 years later.
He was very interesting, had many hobbies, and just loved to do everything. And I always had a good time. And he was fun to be with.
They were married in 1947, after Gene got out of active duty from the Navy. He was a Navy pilot during World War II. Then 20 years in the Coast Guard Reserve earned him the rank of commander. He loved doing sea rescues off the coast of California and Mexico. But it was his job in the police force he talks about with passion.
On the police department, I can think of no more job, Eddie. It could be more exciting than I went through. I went through some exciting situations. I'm about 24 years of age, but I looked younger, so I ended up working in Vice on a Vice group with two other police officers who were 15 years older than I was.
His first arrest was a taxi driver in a prostitution scam.
That was my first case, okay. Then I had many other cases. I had a case which I had downtown. All these Jewish businessmen were, lunchtime, was going downtown, right downtown, and they had a office building here and here, and you go in this office, you go upstairs, and you wait about your turn. They had about 8, 9 girls up there. So as you go upstairs, they said, George, they still squad, they said, you stand here at the bottom. When I go upstairs, wait my turn, all those guys that come down, you hold them, and we'll arrest them for visiting a house of repute. First one came down, and I said, you stand here under arrest, and I showed him my badge. Then another one came down. I put him there. Then another one came down. What was happening upstairs was Johnny was having to wait for about 10 guys before him. And I could see there's no way I'm going to be able to hold of it. So I go to this first one, and I said, you do exactly what I tell you to do, and I'll let you go. I said, what do you want to do? I said, you stand over here and around the corner, because we didn't want the people going up wouldn't see. And going up there, you hold them, and we'll let you go. So, 7 or 8 guys swam, we have all of them, and finally Johnny come back. I said, thank you, and he leaves, and we arrest him. I was going with Virginia at the time, and I took her downtown to one of the movies down there, and we had to park my car, and the guy parked the car. I said, how much is the parking place? He said, the policeman is so-and-so. I looked at him, and here's this guy that I had arrested.
Later, when Gene arrested the Cake Box Bandit, a notorious armed bank robber, the story made the front page of the Los Angeles Times. Gene was working motors when he became my godfather. My Auntie Bee was my godmother. He's the only one who calls me by my baptism name, Ermelinda. Years later, when I was a student at UCLA and when he was in charge of special events for LA, he helped get me a job ushering at Dodger Stadium. Getting to see all the baseball games was a real perk for me, and Gene too.
I loved it. I could get my friends and take my friends there. We had a special place that we had set for the police. And the owner really liked us. And as you can see, those articles where he had taken pictures of us and wrote thank you letters and so forth.
He's proud of the commendation he received from Dodger President Walter O'Malley. He's also proud of the fact he beat LA's future mayor, Tom Bradley, when they took the lieutenant's exam. How long did you work in the police force?
22 years. And I hated to quit. I loved my job. But I thought this would be a better future for us down here. By
this, he means his life in Mazatlan. He was 43 when he retired from the police force and moved his family to live in the Hotel Playa Mazatlan, the hotel his uncle U.S. built. People called U.S. the crazy gringo because at the time, the playa was remote with the ocean on one side and a swampy lagoon on the other with nothing but dirt roads leading to town.
To go out there in the country and build a place out there where no one's around, he's got to be crazy. Imagine going out there and there was nothing around and hear all the business out here, and he goes out there as he's nuts.
But Gene didn't think U.S. was crazy. He and Virginia loved the ocean and the warm weather, so their Mazatlan adventure began. Their daughter Jeannie's birth was part of the adventure. Gene was back in Los Angeles, and Virginia was in Mazatlan with Bernetta when delivery time came.
In the middle of the night, about midnight, I took Virginia down that road with no lights and no lights in Mazatlan and delivered her to the hospital.
So we got in the car, dashed to the sanitarium, and she called the doctor. The doctor was there, and we were waiting for the anesthesiologist. And he didn't come, and he didn't come. So the baby started coming. So in walked the doctor, anesthesiologist, and Bernetta says, I said, "Where have you been?" And he said, "Well, I had to ride my bicycle here." I said, "Well, you're too late."
When I got in there, I helped and delivered Jeannie George.
In the hotel's early days, Jean worked in public relations, trying to attract business by working with travel agents.
If you bring groups down here, I will personally meet them at the airport and personally see that they're taken care of. Brought a group down here and we wined and dined them and I showed them a wonderful time.
He and Virginia also entertained friends and celebrities with cocktail parties and trivia games.
I met a lot of interesting people too. In the old days, this used to be the hangout for movie stars and celebrities.
He'd often play bridge and chess with stars like John Wayne, Rock Hudson, Tony Curtis, Glenn Ford, Robert Mitchum, Merlin Olsen, and David Brinkley. At the same time, he and Virginia had to make sure Jeff and Jeannie got a good education in Mexico. It was a challenge.
I do not speak Spanish. Gene had taken Spanish in college, and he speak a little Spanish. To have a teacher on the side every evening after they returned home from school to help them with their homework, and that really helped out a lot.
School was kind of hard for a couple of years because I didn't speak Spanish and I was only American, but living around here was wonderful. The oceans, swimming all the time, diving, fishing. We were kind of like in our own little world out here.
And they found adventures in other worlds, too, like the time they were almost robbed in Moscow. At 3 in the morning, a man knocked on their door wanting to sell them rubles.
And he has a bunch of rubles in his hands. I said, just a minute. And so we got the money back, and here the guy is looking through my luggage. And I said, don't do that. I said, Virginia, she's in bed. I said,
Sleep.
call up, please. He says, I can't speak Russian. She gets up, grabs a chair, and I'm
hitting him on the back.
And he starts hitting her. She tried to hit him out by the leg, the door, and I could hear the house mother. Each floor in those days had a house mother, each floor. And how he got past her, we don't know. I looked through my luggage to see what was taken, and here was a bunch of rubles he dropped in. And we found out, by the way, we got more money for our rubles than he that, and so it was so cheap that we were on a paid deal where everything, our rooms were, that we would go out on best restaurants in town, and this was damn cheap.
package deal?
But
That's the only time Gene ever said to me, buy anything you want.
One planned family trip to Baja had to be canceled. The reason? Gene was arrested and taken to jail over a bogus property dispute with the brother of a notorious killer. It's a long story he loves to tell.
Jeannie's birthday, I remember that. I went to Lomina, and on the way, a truck pulled me over the side, forced me to the curb, got out, and said, and had me get into their car, and told me they're policemen, and that they're taking me to jail. And when it took me in this room, it was this, by the way, the state police, and a fellow was there about 40 years of age, and he started interrogating me. When he interrogated, he took out a .45 and put it in front of the desk in front of me. He said, you are going to do 20 years in jail. It was extortion. There was no cutting about that.
I just couldn't get over the fact that he was in jail, you know. The kids went to bed, and I just walked the floors thinking, what in the world's going on? And he called me just the one time on that Friday night. So I didn't hear from him again until the next day. But I thought, you know, I just couldn't believe it.
It took me in the booking office, which is normal, had me take all my stuff out, I took all my money out my desk, and I had quite a bit of money on me because I got the money ready for the trip we were taking to Baja California. And then he said, just put the money back in your pocket. So I thought to myself, I don't like that because only gringo there for the whole prison. Finally, the jail man came in and said, let the prisoner in. Prison's room about half the size of this room. But the only ones that had those rooms are ones that could afford them. And one older prisoner, he was over his about 40 years of age, so came out off one of these doors and said, Poinby, you're in a dangerous situation here. People know you have money on you, and it's dangerous for you. He said, I want you to come into my room. So I stepped into this place, and
Like a cell? Was it a room?
yeah, it was about the size of this. He had a little cot here, a little table, no bathroom, of course, and he had a bed, and on his bunk deal he had a place. He had a little television, and he's watching the program Hill Street Blues. I don't know if you remember the program, that's years ago, Hill Street Blues. So we talked there maybe an hour, 2 hours before it came late and it's time to go to sleep. And he said, lock the door, don't open the door. He hadn't been gone, but he said, I will knock 3 times, but don't open it if anything happened. And all of a sudden there was this knock door. So I went over, here he was, he says, the warden wants to see you. My heart. I went into the warden's office and he greeted me. He says, I've had calls from your name, different people calls. And one of the persons, my lawyer, had called me. And he said, I'm going to put you in another place. You're going to stay in the booking room closet. And my office is here. And anytime we use the phone, you can come in and use my phone. Just walk into my office. I said, this is pretty nice. They had a lot of rooms in there, and they had old Christmas ornaments for me when at Christmas time, stuff like that. They didn't have a bed though. No bed. But they did have a bathroom that was used for the jailing personnel right here. I was there, and I was there by maybe half an hour, and in walks a young man he was about 40 years old too. And he come to me and said, my name, and I both took him board on and shook it. I can still remember his name. I'll never forget that name as long as I live. And he says, I want to invite you to dinner tonight. My God, I didn't know he certainly looked more powerful than the prison warden. He says, I'm doing 10 years. The door, and it had a little unusual place there, and had a place where he slept above and so forth. And he sat down and he says, what would you like to drink? He said, well, I like Cuba Libres. He says, well, I tell you what, I've got the rum, but I have the Coke, but I don't have the rum, but just a minute. So he walks out there to this gate, and he calls the policeman over, and gives them money, and they go out and bring him some rum. He's been in there for 7 or 8 years, and he said he's going to get out in a couple of years. I think he's going to get out. So I said, is there anything I could do to help you? He said, well, I don't have a mattress on my bed or something. A mattress, was it? A mattress? I said, I'll get you a mattress. Went back in the room, and I got a call from information. I remember how I got it, that they're all we had to wait till Sunday because of a certain reason that the judge or whatever went there. We had to wait till that meant I got to stay a couple of nights in jail. And then now I was going to hope that we get out. On Sunday, my family arrived. They know I'm in jail. And the gate, it says the wall's right here, and his opening's here, and the families start lining up to get on a Sunday at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever it is, and it's a long, long,
Yes.
long,
Line.
long, and his gate where Alberto Gamboa was only a few steps out there. That's where he pays the guy to go and get the money. And here's Virginia and Jeff and Jeannie all there ready to wait in the line over there. Alberto Gamboa says something to the guard, and boy, the guard goes up and they come right in, and they'll wait for this line. We go into my room closet. And we're there for some time when my attorney, Big Hud, arrives, and Moyle turns to me and says, I want you to tell your family to leave. I got something to say. I want them to hear it. He says, Gene, we can get you out of here. We can get you out of it tomorrow. But here's the problem. He said, you're in there for 28 years. So they're in there, you think this thing's gonna be easily settled right now? Well, I did too. But it looked a little more dangerous when I told them, get out, and they want to talk to me about my family. And Gene, you have a problem. The fellow that owns this property, says he owns this property, Ochilo. Now, I have a picture of him on the front page of the Time magazine. I have it in there someplace. Ochilo was a killer of killers. And he said, he has that word that if you do not pay that deal, he will not only kill you, but he'll kill your family and kill your family. And he knows who your family are. They know who your family are. Well, the lawyers stopped working on it. When I had I signed that the property was legal his. Paid equivalent to $1,000 to the judge. Came out of my pocket, not the Marina's too, because it had to be secret that the judge got $1,000. And they found me not guilty, but the lot was theirs. They could do with it what they wanted to do with it. So I have another week in jail. While I'm another week in jail, I get had many things happen, price fight, which actually happened after this Sunday, and every night was a night over Alberto Gamboa's. I found out that I was going to get out of jail the next day, and when I get out the next day, I told that to Alberto Gamboa, and we said we'll have a party. We'll get the game. We'll have a party. But during that day, I don't remember what day it was, my lawyer called me and said, Gene, I can get you out now. That was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, make it tomorrow.
And when I heard that he wanted to stay for the party.
That was long after though. I didn't tell her that right. I did,
No.
Finally, after I get everything, I got out of jail. But the story doesn't end yet. Now I have a dear friend, Alberto Gamboa, in jail. So my sister Loretta and her husband are here, so we go at night and then go out at night and dinner. We go to his jail and we have dinner with him in the jail.
Gene's family means the world to him. He was devastated by the sudden death of Jeannie. He can't talk about it, but his grandson Shane says the family got through the loss of his mother by staying together.
We help each other. It's not like they help me. We all helped each other. Every family manages those situations differently, but we were always together. A lot of lunches and dinners, and I guess that helped a lot, be with the family. They were there.
So many things to think about when he takes his daily morning walk. He uses a cane now, but it wasn't always so. Gene was physically active, strong, and fit as a young man. He brags he used to be able to lift Bernetta up over his head. He competed on the Navy wrestling team and did push-ups every day until he was 80. Now, at 92, instead of running on the beach to collect his shells, he walks along the Malecon at dawn and collects coins he finds on the street.
That makes 5.
He's collected jars full of coins he's given to his maid Rosario to help pay for her daughter's school expenses.
¿Cuántos estaba la última vez?
1500.
Never met a person quite like my grandfather. He's definitely a cool old man. He's always doing something, never gives up, and I wish I'll be like him someday.
As I watch Gene round the corner and come up the walk to his home at the playa, I'm certain he is thinking of another story he has yet to tell, or even one he has yet to live.